work at times can feel like a grind. There are days, weeks, months, maybe even years where our work does not give us life, but rather takes life. Perhaps our working conditions are not what they should be. Or maybe we have a boss or colleague that are extremely difficult to work with or make our work life miserable. Or perhaps the work itself is hard, soul-sucking, and leads us to long for something new. Few people, if any, make it through life without experiencing work as a grind one time or another. During these seasons, work feels far more like a curse than a blessing. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. You are dust, and to dust you shall return. These are the words that God spoke to Adam in the creation story that we find in Genesis 3. As a result of eating the forbidden fruit, the ground is cursed. In toil, humanity will eat from the earth that produces thistles and thorns. By the sweat of our face we shall live until one day we return to earth in death. It's not a very pretty picture, but it has helped humans throughout the years make sense of why work is hard and burdensome. It is the reality of living in a world that is broken and does not reflect God's full intent and longing for all things to be made right. And yet, not all work is cursed or meant for toil. Genesis 2:15 reads, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and keep it." Before Adam and Eve took a bite of the apple, before the curse, before the toil and sweat of the brow, humanity is invited to till and keep the garden. Work, we find, is a part of God's intent for a good, whole, and just creation. At the end of every day in the creation story, God steps back, looks at what was created that day, and sees that it is good. And work is a part of that goodness. We know this instinctively. Have you ever finished a long day's work that was hard, work into which you put your whole self, and although you were tired and exhausted, there was this deep sense of fulfillment. You accomplished something, and that sense of satisfaction is a reflection of how you are wired. To give of ourselves for the sake of good work is part of what it means to be human. Work can be a grind, yes, but it can also be a gift. Along with the curse comes a blessing. In work, we're able to provide for ourselves and for our families. This is good. In work, we can have a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. This is good. In work, we are able to create and nurture community with others. This is good. And in work, we have the opportunity to contribute to human flourishing and make the world a better place. This is good. Where do you find life and connection in your work? Where does your work feel like a natural outpouring of how you are wired or who you were created to be? In what ways does the work you do contribute to the world being a better place, even in the smallest ways? If we pay close enough attention, we just might find that in the midst of toil and the grind of our work, there lies these small gifts that reflect a longing God had long ago. When God invited humanity to till and keep the garden, stepped back and declared, "It is good." If we pay close enough attention, we just might find that there are moments of hope, joy, goodness, and possibility, even in places we never expected it.